Be yourself, do what you love, provide value, and have integrity. Those things, I think, and they're very broad, they're very vague, but I think that those four really have guided me every step of the way.
Welcome to Biz Stories Shared, where storytellers share their inspiration, motivation, some disappointments, and how they applied the lessons that led them to success. Stories are gifts. Listen as these gifts are shared. Now, here is your host, Charlotte Plott.
Well, hello, storytellers. Charlotte Plott here, and I'm thrilled to bring you our guest today, Dayna Mathews. Dayna, are you ready to be a storyteller?
Yeah!
Oh, great. All right, listeners, I'm going to tell you about Dayna now. She is a career and personal branding coach for women at Dayna Marie Coaching, and she has helped more than 500 people since 2009 on their path to creating a successful career. Not only does Dayna create powerfully branded resumes and coach on interview skills and job search strategies, but she also helps women figure out what they really want. She gets down deep to help bring out their true self so they can better personally brand themselves and stand out in the crowd. Dayna is a die-hard LinkedIn junkie, creating profiles that attract the right attention and providing hands-on training to help you get what you want. Dayna is a hockey-obsessed northern Minnesota native with a love for writing and inspiring women to play the lead role in creating the lives that they've always wanted. Well, Dayna, I've given our listeners just a little summary about you, so take a minute and tell us more about you personally because we want to get to know you better, and then give us an overview of your business.
Great. So, as it was mentioned, I'm from a really small town in northern Minnesota, and I moved to Phoenix in October of 2010 after college. And I moved to Phoenix, and I didn't know anyone. I just decided I wanted to up and move to Phoenix to create a life. And so I did. And since 2010, I've been working in the career coaching field and honing my skills and all of that. And one day I just decided to start my own business. But I mentioned too that I love hockey and I love hiking. I don't know if you're a hiker at all, Charlotte, but hiking in Phoenix is amazing. So that's one of the things that I really love to do. And I recently got a new dog, so that's always fun. But, more about my business. Probably about a year ago now, I started my business because I wanted to help people in a way that I wasn't able to do at my job, which I worked at a community college here in Phoenix as a career counselor. So they called me the resume queens, but I was working with students and staff, community members, helping with resumes and interview skills and doing presentations around campus. One day I just decided I wanted to start my own business so that I could serve people in the capacity that I really wanted to do. And so I ultimately chose to work with women because they're my favorite to work with, and I really enjoy helping them find out who they really are and put it on paper so they can sell it.
I think that's really brave of you to move here and not know anybody.
Yeah.
That's a big accomplishment to have moved here, got settled in, and had a job and a dog, and you really hit the ground running, didn't you?
I did. You kind of have to. You don't really have any other choice, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Thank you for sharing that with us. And here at Biz Stories Shared, we start every show with your favorite quote. So, Dayna, what's your favorite quote, and how do you apply this to your everyday thinking?
My favorite quote is, "Things work out best for those who make the best of how things work out," by John Wooden. And for me, that quote is my favorite because not only in my business, but throughout my life, and most people I'm sure can agree with this, is we go through a lot of stuff. We have a lot of things that happen to us for no rhyme or reason. And sometimes we can't make sense out of what happens. And your only choice is really to make the best of what happens so that you can get through it as quick as possible and move on with the life that you really wanted, that you want to live. I found that this works really well in my business because as any business owner will tell you, there's consistent setbacks and failures. if you can't make the best of how things work out, it's a lot harder to move forward in a positive way and just kind of let things go and say, you know what, it was supposed to happen that way. I learned a few lessons and now I'm going to take those lessons and move forward. An example of that, I guess, is when I first started my business, probably about 2 months in, I had a different business name. My business name at the time was Your Kick-Ass Career. And I loved the business name, but I had a lady from California who had a similar business name. She reached out to me and basically said that, sorry, but you need to change your business name or I'm going
Oh.
to take you to court.
Oh, wow.
So, I was obviously, I didn't know what I was doing. I was brand new. I didn't do my due diligence and check into everything like I was supposed to. So I had to change my business name. And, I could have gotten angry. I could have fought back. I could have been resentful of her. But, I kind of took it as, okay, this is supposed to be happening. I don't know why, but my business name isn't supposed to be what it was before. So I'm going to change it. It was a lot of work having to go in and change all of my social media profiles and branding and creating a new logo. But like I said, everything happens for a reason. So you make the best of it and you move on.
Well, that is a very good example of how you do follow that quote. Would you repeat it again? Because it was good.
Things work out best for those who make the best of how things work out, by John Wooden.
That is very good. And I don't think that we've had that quote before. So thank you for that. And you also gave a good example of how the storyteller listeners should apply this quote to their journey, because we do just have to make the best of what's thrown at us or handed to us or that we
Yeah.
get, but you just have to go with that. So that was a very good example. Thank you for that.
Sure.
Dayna, you've shared some of the facets of your life, being in business, having to change your business name, helping clients, and along the way, you've probably had some failures. A failure can be when you land flat on your face, or it might just be a whisper of discontent. Now, I want to ask you to tell us of one of the times you just didn't get the results that you set out to achieve, and most importantly, the lessons that you learned.
I have a good one. Though it saddens me, it is a really good one. So I would say probably about back in November or December, something like that. So it really wasn't that long ago. I started working with a client, and she was wonderful. Absolutely loved her. She and I had so much in common, and she really wanted to completely change careers from the industry that she was in to a brand new one. And so it was my goal to take her from the job she was in and help her completely with the transition process. Everything from doing a resume, LinkedIn profile, giving her strategies and everything as to make that transition process happen as fast as possible. And what I found with her was I would give her kind of direction and say, these are my recommendations. And then I would come back and say, okay, follow up with me, let me know when you've accomplished each of these directions, and then we'll move forward from there. And what I found is she had a hard time, for whatever reason, she had a hard time following through on all of my recommendations. And so it became tough to work with her because I felt like I was failing because she wasn't making any moves forward. But she also wasn't taking any of my advice and putting it into action. And so with that, I just kind of figured out, like, I can't take responsibility for something, for her outcome, when she's not, taking or heeding my advice and doing the things I'm recommending for her to do. And ultimately, she didn't succeed. She kind of stopped working with me, stopped talking to me. I reached out to her. And, I asked her, what else can I do? I want to help you as much as possible. And if what I'm recommending isn't working, I want to help. Like, you got to let me know, what don't you want to do and why? And she just kind of stopped reaching out to me. And I felt like it was a big failure moment because I had such high hopes and high anticipations for her because of her level of expertise and her amazing personality and all the skills that she had. But what I learned from that is, you can't force people to do what you advise them to do. And if they find a good enough reason to not do something you suggest, they won't do it, even if it's in their best interest. And so I guess I just realized that all I can do is offer my best to them in the best way that I know how. And if they don't follow through with that, then ultimately they're just not ready for what they thought they were ready for, and that's okay.
Well, that really is sad because when you give someone your best help and they don't follow it, it's hard not to think that you have failed. So you're very wise to know it isn't your fault. You can't force someone to be a success because there might be hidden fears there that haven't been shared and you don't know how to deal with them. So that's really hard. It's good that you have realized that it's not your fault and you've just had to move forward.
All you can do, move forward.
That's all you can do. Well, and a review every so often, I hope, helps you to remember that you did learn lessons, then you can just move forward more from that. And the next time you start to see that happening, then maybe you've learned some skills that you can either not beating up on yourself because you're not succeeding in helping them, and you just have to let them go.
Yes, absolutely. Seeing the trigger signs, the trigger points early, and early intervention, asking different questions, taking different approaches, and asking right away, like, if this isn't working, you need
Right.
to know. So yeah, it was definitely a learning experience. It was
Yeah.
good.
Well, good. Now, what I want to do, Dayna, is to go to the other end of the spectrum. Let's talk about a time in your journey when you had an aha moment, when you became aware of the new path that you wanted to travel. So take us to that moment when you had that light bulb go off and then through the steps that you took to turn that idea into success.
So, okay, I was thinking when I had the aha moment that I was going to leave my full-time job and pursue my business full-time. I was working at Glendale Community College in the Career Services Center. And I'm a very reflective person, and I've learned that being reflective and thinking about, how you feel and everything like that is just really important to creating a life that's meaningful to you. And so 13, 14 months ago now, I was kind of feeling, I call it the itch. Maybe you felt this before, Charlotte, in any of past positions or things like that. But
Mm-hmm.
you kind of have this sense like I'm not unhappy, but I'm not that happy either. I just itchy. I want to like do something different
Right. Right.
or do something more. I just felt like I had that consistent itch, and I'm like, okay, I've thought about having my own business because I had a couple of people tell me, like, you're really good at this. You should start your own business. You'd be successful. But I think that my own small mindedness in terms of where I came from and how I grew up and what was possible was really small at the time. So I had to overcome those type of things. But one day I don't even remember exactly what it was. I think I was probably listening to a webinar or reading an article of some kind talking about entrepreneurship, and I think it was a Saturday. I just remember this light bulb going off and saying, you know what? All these other people have created a business
Aha.
helping people. I'm going to do this. I don't know how. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it. So I started my business, officially registered for my LLC and everything like that in February of 2014. And then probably July of 2014, I said, you know what? If I don't leave my full-time job now, I'm never going to leave. I'm going to get too comfortable and
Oh.
my life is going to move forward and I'm never going to leave. So I got up the courage to somehow tell my boss that I'm leaving this amazing full-time job, great benefits job to pursue a business of my own. I don't know. Because unlike many others, I didn't hate my job. I loved my job. I was blessed to work with people every day and do something that I enjoyed, but there was still a piece of me that didn't feel like I was fulfilled. And so I had to kind of say, you know what, even though I am happy, I know I could be happier and I'm going to shoot for that. And so I left my full-time job in September of 2014 and haven't looked back since, but it's been a journey the entire time. A lot of emotions.
Oh, I can imagine there are a lot of emotions, but one of them, I hope, is patting yourself on the back to have the courage to do this because that's not an easy thing to do. But I see a pattern here. You moved to Arizona when you didn't know anybody, and then you leave a job that you really are enjoying and taking that leap to start your own. And I just think that's an exciting part that we get to see of you. So thanks for sharing that. You're very brave.
I try. I try.
That's good. I don't think you're trying, you're doing. Who is that Yoda or somebody says,
Yep.
don't try, do?
Yep. There is no try, there only do, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Well, and real life experiences helped us to take the lessons that we've learned and apply them to other facets of our life and business, and that's how we keep growing. And you certainly are taking those lessons and you're just keeping on growing and doing.
Yes.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Well, Dayna, I'm going to ask you to bring us to the present time and to share your proudest entrepreneurial moment.
Can I share two?
Sure, you bet.
So I've been volunteering with an organization called Dress for Success Phoenix, and it's an organization that helps women who don't have a lot. It helps them with career transition, gives them beautiful clothing to wear, and just teaches them how to dress for success. And I volunteered teaching LinkedIn classes for them for about a year, and less than 6 months ago, I went in to do one of my trainings for them, which I do for free, and they presented me with something called the Inspire Her Star.
Oh.
Which I thought was really meaningful to me, because they gave it to me for commitment to their overall mission and serving women in need. And I had never received anything like that before. So for me, for some other people, it might just have been, a plastic star with words on it. But for me, it really meant a lot, because it just showed that they appreciated my time and that I made a difference to them. So that was one. And then I think the other was a recent client of mine. I redid her LinkedIn and helped her with her resume. And she texted me as she was doing one of my little projects that I give to help me figure out more about who this woman is. She texted me and said, one of the questions that you had me ask brought tears to my eyes, because one of the questions I have my clients ask is, I ask them to reach out to their closest friends and ask, how would you describe me?
Oh, wow.
And she said that by doing that, her friends had told her things she'd never even realized before. And she cried, and she just felt like the entire process of answering all these different questions really helped her see her own value. And she felt so much more confident in that she was going to be able to find a career that was really meaningful for her. And so it made me cry, because I know how it feels when you have this sudden moment of feeling like, wow, I really am valuable, and other people think so too. So that's probably it.
Oh, well, those are very good examples, both of them, and congratulations on getting the star.
Thank you.
And that volunteering for places like Dress for Success for the women in Phoenix, I think that is absolutely wonderful, because they often don't have the wherewithal to get started. And then to do the LinkedIn, that's going to be a big asset for them.
Yes.
To looking for a job. And then the questions that you ask for your clients, I think that it is so hard for us to believe why people like us and love us. And so when they verbalize it to us, like had been done to that lady, it really does reinforce and help us to have a little more love for ourselves, which is so important.
Absolutely.
Oh, good for you.
Thank you.
Well, Dayna, people really want to hear stories like yours and how you're growing and making your business success. Tell us one thing that is really exciting you in your business right now.
Sure. So I've recently decided to take my business in a new direction. So for the long term, I'm wanting to create an online business. So my new thing right now is I'm teaching myself how to create my own WordPress website, which is not easy, because I am not.
I know it isn't easy.
But so right now my website is currently hosted on Weebly, and it's been great. But in order for me to host webinars and online courses and things, I need to have a WordPress website. And so I'm teaching myself how to build that WordPress website. And my long-term, the thing that I'm going to be working on is building online courses to teach women about personal branding and topics related to being successful or creating a successful career for themselves, specifically for women. So I want to create online courses that, a woman can buy today and refer back to 2 years from now to help her through those transitions and kind of have me in her pocket.
Great.
So I'll be creating online courses and hosting them through my website, doing membership sites and things like that. So that's one of the main things right now. That's really exciting. It's tough, but it's exciting.
Well, and you will learn a lot and you'll grow a lot.
Yes.
Too, learning how to do that website. And then getting the training out there for your clients, and the membership site sounds like a really good idea. It
Yes.
does. Good for you.
Thank you.
Well, Dayna, what's the best business advice that you ever received?
Okay, this was a tough one because I've received so much, but I would say be yourself, do what you love, provide value, and have integrity. Those things, I think, and they're very broad, they're very vague, but I think that those four really have guided me every step of the way, because I think in business, it's really easy to start being someone other than yourself because you feel like you have to succeed.
Right.
And every moment that I've felt that way, I've consistently reminded myself that people buy from you because they like you. People
Mm-hmm.
follow you because they like you, they trust you. And if you stop being you, you're going to lose them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the doing what you love piece, and that's very cliche, do what you love, do what you love. But in every step of the way in my career, I've really tried to think about what makes me happy every day. If I leave the end of a day and I feel exhausted and tired and drained, why? What was it in my day that caused me to feel that way, and how can I avoid it at all costs?
Mm-hmm.
And so I've really just figured out that it's so much more beneficial if you focus on what it is about whether it's a job or your career or your business, but focus on what are the pieces of that business that really bring you the most fulfillment and the most joy. How can I focus on doing those as often as possible? And then providing value at every step of the way. No matter how far I'm into my business or not, my first piece that I'm always thinking about is, am I providing value to the people who are doing business with me? But not only that, but the people who are following me online and that need help. And one thing I've found is that people often reach out and ask for help because they're in sticky situations. And I wish it wasn't this way, but I'm not the kind of person who can ignore that. And I think in business, some people say, well, you have to choose your time wisely and you can't help everyone, and that's very true. But with my nature, if someone asks me for help and I can feasibly help them, I want to. And I find that no matter, even if I spend an hour and I'm not paid for it, I know that it's going to come back to me somehow, because what goes around comes around. I really believe that. And then having integrity, just doing what you say what you do, and do that every single day, and good things will come. People come to trust you because of your consistency and following through on the things that you promise. So all of that.
Very good. Very good examples. And I will share with the listeners that I did ask Dayna for help on LinkedIn, and she generously helped me with a situation that was really sticky for me. I just didn't know how to complete this one part of it, and she took the time and shared a very important part for me. So I can see that you walk the talk, and that's so important to do. That's that's what will make you a success forever.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mhm.
Well, Dayna, now I'm going to ask you some specific ways that show how you achieved becoming such a successful entrepreneur. Does that sound like a plan?
Mhm.
All right. So, what's the vision of the future of your business?
This is always a really tough one for me to answer. But right now, my vision for the future is I envision myself having a profitable online business that is helping to teach and grow thousands of women every single day. And also for here in Phoenix, unrelated to online, I have a vision of working with local domestic violence shelters to create empowerment training programs for women going through those really tough transition times when they feel like they don't know who they are, they've lost all sense of self-confidence and are trying to pick up the pieces. I really envision myself working closely with them to create those programs. And it's also my goal and my vision to work with women's groups throughout the valley, throughout the Phoenix area, to promote positive personal branding, kind of that be who you are empowerment programs, and teaching women how they can leverage social media to get what they want. So right now, that's the vision, but who knows what it'll be next month.
I'm guessing that it will continue to be that vision because you have a very generous spirit and you do want to help people, and that's not something that you've just put on for this month or this
Yeah.
this quarter. It's really you down to the core. So I know that that's going to help you to be a success and a very worthwhile and important vision for you to have for your business, because there are so many that need your help and will survive better because of you helping them. So good for you. Well, Dayna, can you share one of your personal habits that you strongly believe contributes to your success?
I think out of all of the habits that have contributed to my success, I would say that showing people that I care and going above and beyond no matter what really contributes to my success, because even if I just work with one person and I go above and beyond what is expected and help them beyond what they expected, they're going to tell someone.
Right. Yes.
Going to tell someone else, and someone else will work with me, and so on and so forth. And I find that that's what I enjoy the most is maybe it takes me a little bit more time to add that much value, but just showing people that I care and going above and beyond no matter what. I think people always say you shouldn't care what other people think of you.
Dayna, do you have an internet resource to share with our listeners which helps with your efficiency, like Evernote or an app? And storytellers, you will find the links to these sites in the show notes of today's episode at bizstoryshared.com/DaynaMathews. Okay, Dayna.
So a lot of where I get my advice and the tips and strategies that I use is from 3 different online websites. So one of them is called Inc. So it's just Inc.com.
Okay.
Forbes, so Forbes.com. And then also entrepreneur.com. Those 3, I find I like them. I like all 3 of them on Facebook. I follow them on Twitter and on LinkedIn, and they post amazing content every single day, and I read it and absorb it every single day. And then, like, as far as efficiency and getting things done, for me, it goes back to pen and paper and writing things down to say, today I will accomplish 2 big things and 3 small things.
Okay.
Having them just written out for myself. And then on Facebook, I'm a part of it's called the Freedom Hackers Mastermind. It's a Facebook group, and it's specifically for business owners who are trying to make a profitable business online. But it's been really helpful for me because they share all kinds of resources. And so for me in building my website, asking a simple question as who should my internet hosting provider be? I don't know the first thing about hosting, and I don't even know what that really means. And so I can go in there and ask techie questions like that and have them answered in a minute or two. So that's been a really, really helpful resource for me. And anyone who is an entrepreneur can join that Facebook group. You just have to search for it and request it. Her name, the gal who runs the Facebook group, is called Kimra, Kimra. Luna, Luna. So that's been a really big help.
Great. Well, thank you. And that's wonderful that you found a site like that you can just ask those questions. The one thing that I compliment you on is not to be self-conscious about asking them, because sometimes I hold myself back and think, oh, I don't want them to know I don't know that.
Oh, yeah. I've had to learn that. I've always been that way. And I'm like, you know what? I can't be that way anymore.
Oh, good. Now, would you describe for us who would be a perfect referral for your business? These would be business associates or clients that the listeners know who would benefit from doing business with you.
So for me, a perfect referral really is a positive, ambitious woman who's going through some kind of a life transition, whether that be a divorce, a career transition, a layoff, moving to a new city, just a complete rebrand of herself, and she's in need of personal guidance and direction with how to brand herself, how to create a career that she loves, and how to efficiently and strategically go about getting a job in the right way. And someone who really does want the personal guidance and wants to be really successful in her career and just needs a little bit of guidance along the way.
Okay, listeners, those are who Dayna would like a referral of. If you could recommend just one book to our listeners, what would it be?
Again, that's a tough one. I've got 2. The first one, Start With Why, Simon Sinek, and the second book is The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. The Start With Why book was really important to me because it just gave me a different perspective on why the most successful businesses nationally and internationally are successful, and it's all because they start with why rather than what and how. So that was
Oh,
impactful for me. And then Jack Canfield, the guy who writes the chicken soup books, the success principles is really key. There's so many of them out there, so it's hard to choose.
it is. But those were very good recommendations, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, Dayna, I have truly enjoyed listening to your journey and the stories that you shared. So would you please tell us one more time how we can get in touch with you and any other resources that you want us to have, and then we'll say goodbye.
Yes, absolutely. So you can find me at my website, www.DaynaMarieCoaching.com, and Dayna is spelled with a Y, so DaynaMarie coaching.com. That's my website, and anyone can go on there and schedule a free 30-minute consultation with me if they're interested. And then you can also find me on Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram at Dayna Marie Coaching. And on Twitter, my handle is at KickassCareer.
Okay.
And then you can also find me on LinkedIn at Dayna M. Mathews, Mathews with one T. And I'd be happy to connect with anyone on all of those sites.
All right. Those are very good resources for us to contact you and to keep staying in touch with you. Well, Dayna, thank you for being so generous with your time and expertise and your experiences. Okay, listeners, you can find links to this resource and everything that we've been chatting about in today's episode by going to bizstorieshared.com/DaynaMathews. Thank you again, Dayna, and goodbye.
Oh, bye.
Give the storyteller some love. Go to bizstorieshared.com, click on the iTunes button, and give a 5-star review. Thanks.